Hi, welcome back. So today I want to talk to you about something that actually might inspire you and empower you to lose weight. I'm going to give you an incentive. How about money? And I'm talking lots of it. Over the course of your adult life, being overweight, and I'm going to use overweight and obese as interchangeable here, okay? Being overweight, being obese is going to net you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars over your adult life of loss of money. And how are we going to lose that money? Well, let's start with job interviews. So it's proven through surveys from employers that if two people interview for the same position and one's overweight and one's not, their qualifications are equal, or maybe the overweight individual has higher qualifications, they're going to choose the thinner individual for the position. So you just lost out on a job, a potential job, and a career with a company. Then, let's say you're in a company, your yearly evaluation, your manager and those that are reviewing you are going to give you less of a raise than your thinner counterpart because of this perceived bias. That your work ethic, because you're overweight, your work ethic is lesser than, you're just not as productive. They're going to look at you as being able to, oh, she or he is overweight, so they're going to miss days due to health issues. And it just kind of rolls. And when it's time for reorganization or layoffs or anything, you're going to be one of the first to go. Now, there are some exceptions, and I'm going to say the industries that are the exceptions currently, here in 2025, I'm going to say those are doctors, nurses, teachers, and CPA, maybe, with AI getting involved in taking bookkeeping and basic CPA jobs. The decline in that market is actually the actual Bureau of Labor Statistics. That specific position is actually going down for growth. Corporations are still going to need CPAs. Tax individuals are still going to need CPAs if they have taxes that are complex, right? So I don't know that I would trust AI to do my taxes when there could be penalty and jail time involved if AI got it wrong. So your yearly evaluations are down. You lost a potential job. Your yearly evaluations are going to come in lower, which means less money. You're going to be one of the first to let go should there be a situation of they're going to have to reduce labor. And women actually have a double curse, if you will. So if you're a woman, you're already going to make less money than your counterpart in most scenarios, unless you work for a company that is just very transparent in what they pay their individuals, and they don't look at the sex or the age of the individual, and everything's equal. If you work for one of those companies, consider yourself very lucky. Most companies are not like that. So if you're a woman, you're already making less money. I know that I made 20 to 25% less than my male counterparts and I could work circles around them as far as saving corporations money. It didn't matter. I was a woman in a man's world. So that's the reality of it. And let's look at stuff like clothing. Clothing costs more money when you're overweight. Having it dry clean costs more money if you're overweight. So there's kind of that in, and now we're going into life insurance. So if you're overweight, what did I say about weight? It tends to feed in, it's an artery that feeds in to all of these disease states. So overweight, maybe then you start to have high blood pressure, maybe you start to have arthritis in your feet and your knees and your hips and your back, and it starts there, and then it just kind of continues to cascade as you get older and the weight increases. So when you go for a life insurance policy outside of a company, and you say you want to get $1 million or a $2 million policy to make sure your family is taken care of, in the event that something should happen to you, you're not going to get it. Because they're going to look at you and they're going to say, they're going to request an evidence of insurability, which is going to be if you're overweight and you have medical conditions, you're going to get a letter of denial. They're just not going to do it. Life insurance companies take thin, healthy people. That's who they insure. So you've just lost that ability. Now you are forced to stay within a corporation so you can get their measly life insurance policy of 1 to 2 times your salary that you're going to pay for on a per paycheck basis, depending on how much money you make on a income ladder scale. And then anything 3x or above to 5, if you wanted to take out, they're going to require an evidence of insurability. And again, you're going to fail if you have any disease state, diabetes, high blood pressure, so on and so forth. Then you go, okay, Alicia, well, I work for myself, or let's just say you're a solopreneur, you go to the marketplace, or let's just say you're unemployed, which a lot of us are currently. 25% is the actual statistic I believe that CBS came up with instead of the 4% that our government is currently reporting. So say you're one of the 25% unemployed here in America, and you go, okay, well, I need health insurance because I have, issues. I need to see doctors, I have medications, and I need to make sure I'm covered in case something happens and I end up in the hospital. My wife and kids, or my kids, won't be saddled with medical bills and huge bills, and we won't be facing bankruptcy when I get out, because we all know how much healthcare costs. So you go in for a policy and just say on the marketplace, they're going to do the same thing. So a year and a half ago, I was on the marketplace and I had a policy, and I was paying roughly $250 a month for it. It's based on your actual wage earnings for the previous year, or for the current year, estimated wage earnings. So I just looked on the marketplace currently for a lesser policy, meaning it was a higher deductible policy, higher out-of-pocket max. It didn't cover as much. I was responsible for, it was a 70-30 and not an 80-20 policy. I was paying more for specialists, more for doctors, more for my prescriptions. So it wasn't as good and it was costing me more money. Well, because of my heart surgery that I had in December of 2024, that is now in my medical record, and some of the same insurance companies that are on the marketplace had access to my medical records. Now, just in a 6-month period, they're going to charge me almost $600 a month for something lesser than I was getting when I was paying $250 a month, all because they know I've had surgeries, I've been in and out of the ER, I've been in and out of the ICU, and so there's medical expenses, so they're going to get their money one way or another. So, and if you say, well, no, that's just how the policy, the policies have all gone up. No, because a friend of mine who's the same age, we made exactly the same amount of money for the year. He's paying $150 for that policy, that same policy. And he's overweight, but he's healthy. He doesn't have the stigma of being labeled as all of these things, right? Autoimmune and heart and, breast cancer and whatnot. So you end up paying every single month more money for everything. So you're losing jobs, you're not getting promotions, you're getting below average raises, and now everything's costing you more. It's not fair, but it is our reality today. Gone are the days where you get with a company, you stay with the company, and you're able to retire when you want to retire. Currently, the retirement age is 72 for Social Security. You can take your early retirement at 62 and a half. You can take it at 65, you can take it at 72 for your full benefit. In a few years, that might go, 67. In a few years, they could raise that to 70 or 72 for the people that are younger than I am. And then those that are younger than they are, who knows if Social Security will even be around. So there's that. And there's the fact that no one goes to a company and stays there anymore. Gone are the days where your father went and worked for one company all of his life. He retired from that company with a pension and full benefits, and he retired at 55. That is not the case anymore. It does not happen. It does not occur. That would be a unicorn if you were to find that. So you either have to work for yourself and make a very good living to be able to put away money. And let's just look at those that are working for a corporation. If you're young and healthy, it's great because you can go into an HSA, which is a health savings account, right? You can earn some money on the money you're not using because you're not going to doctors, you're not having to pay for medication, you're not going into the hospital. And so you're able to get that money, and you're able to get, it's like a health savings account, really. And they're paying you for that money that keeps accruing. You can't do that if you have an illness. If you have a chronic illness like an autoimmune, diabetes, let's say you're a type 1 diabetic and you had it since you were a child. You're going to pay a price for that through your whole entire life. Through having to pay for insulin, the monitoring kits, and all the things, the doctor's appointments. It goes on and on and on. And it's a cascade. It is being sick, being ill, does you no favors. It absolutely does you no favor. we know two things will feed those illnesses: smoking and being overweight. Most of us can control both of those. There are some that it's just in their gene makeup that they're overweight from birth and they have struggled their whole entire life and will continue to struggle. That was not my case. I was always thin, with the exception up until 40-ish. I was always thin. I mean thin, active. Even through all of my autoimmune, there were times through my medications that I was being put on that I ballooned and gained weight. Now those were medication-induced weight gain. So as soon as I came off those medicines a year later, I was back to normal. So we have kids, again, that are in grade school that are overweight and obese. What do you think they're going to be like at 40? When I started at 40, now you look at me 20 years later, and I'm going through this. So be wise, not smart. Learn from my mistakes, and not your own. Start now. Have a career, pick a job. If you're going to college, go to a junior college first, a county college. Get a 2-year, make sure it's transferable, go to a state school. These educations, these private universities are killing the student loans. Like, people are taking out hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to a big name private university, and they're paying for it in spades. Just be wise. Get your 2-year degree. Make sure you know what you want to do. If you don't, take a gap year. Work, make money, decide what you want to do, have a game plan, go into college or a trade school, and go quickly. And don't go in and change your degree 3 times. Know what you want to do, put your mind to it, do it. And then hope that you're healthy and get moving, exercise, and stop with curtail the drive-thrus, curtail the junk, curtail the processed, highly processed, high fat, high sugar, high sodium, everything we get, curtail it. Just, if you can sub a fresh vegetable or fruit in there, do it. Any step you can take to make sure that you're moving in the right direction, not backwards, in the right direction, is going to help in the long run. And you're probably saying, well, oh, Alicia, I'll never get, in your situation, I'll never get fat like that. I'll never put on 25 plus pounds overweight or 40 pounds overweight. I didn't think I would either. I was a small frame. I was literally a toothpick. I was active, and it happens. When women reach 40, it happens. Used to, companies would discriminate against women in childbearing years because they knew they would be out on maternity leave, or there was a high probability that they would be out on maternity leave. Now, that's not the case because they want the younger individuals for the jobs, and they're letting the older individuals go. So the older individuals they're just being X'd out of the market, and the younger individuals are being hired for the positions. Women are typically let go sooner than men because as a woman ages, it's no secret. Women start getting ill. They start getting breast cancer. They start having issues. They start having um, thyroid issues, heart disease, cancer, high blood pressure. So companies tend to let women go before they let men go. And they do have a stigma, well, a man needs to take care of his family. Bullshit. In today's economy, both people are working. Both people. If you're lucky to have a two household or a blended family, both people are typically working. There aren't many traditional families anymore where the female stays home, cooks the meal, the man goes and earns the money, and she has the kids, the dinner ready, the house clean, and the kids' homework done, and bathed and ready to go. It just, that's not the world we live in today. And if it's your world, consider yourself extremely lucky. But that's not the world we live in today. Today is, you see older individuals that are living in their cars because they can't afford mortgage or rent. You have younger individuals living in their car. Student loans are unable to be paid back, and jobs are being just, unemployment is an all-time high, even though they're not reporting it. AI is coming in, taking more jobs, people are being let go, companies are downsizing, things are just going on that we're not going to have a good year, and maybe even not a good next year. So if you can eat healthier, if you can save money with your food instead of going through the drive-thru, and I know it's hard, I'm struggling. Trust me, I'm struggling. Because sometimes you just don't feel good. But every time you go through the drive-thru, you're going to feel even worse the next day because you're not fueling your body properly. You're not consuming what you need to consume. You're not consuming nutrients. You're consuming high sodium, high fat, and the list goes on. And those things just aren't good. You're not even consuming food. It's all fake food, typically. I mean, if we were to get down to it, it is. It is the dregs of protein, the dregs, French fries laden with oil and pizza. Next time you get a pizza, look at it. Look at the grease that's running off of it. Yep. Not to mention that the salami, pepperoni, and all of the meats have been classified as class 2 carcinogens now, along with deli meats and processed meats. So there's that. And for someone who's had cancer and you go, oh, big deal, everyone has to die of something. Well, you say that until you have to go through it. And then it's a different story. And you just wish you could go back. You wish you could do things differently. So, let this be incentive, because all I'm seeing are dollar signs. So if you're 20 years old and you're watching this video, let this be an incentive for you to get moving, stay moving, eat healthier, don't drink as much, don't smoke, don't vape, because you're just going to get to a point where it's going to start costing you money, costing you relationships, costing you friendships, just costing you. And that's a really, really, really hard place to be. So I hope I gave you some food for thought. I want you to chew on it and think about what you can do. And if you are one of the lucky ones that work, get some of your coworkers together bring your tennis shoes to work, and on your lunch break, go for a little walk. Even if you were to get 15 or 20 minutes in, go for a little walk. Get some steps in. It's all about the steps. Input versus output, all about the steps and what goes in your body, what you choose to put in your body. So until next time, I'll see you.